And I skid and I go down.
Does everyone see you? I go to pick up my drink and I just like throw it. Her cutting her eyes at Kelly in the audition, like, how'd she get through this?
She just had power in her walk. And I was like, that is how I want to be in this world. We would have show choir practices that were all about facials.
She had every skill, but her mind was what she had to say, I can do this.
I think there is a spiritual element that's really hard to share on a Netflix documentary.
A lot of things in life are a conversation, sit down, coffee shop conversation. Expecting to find it on social media or receive it or get it or give it on social media just feels kind of foolish. It's never going to give you the fullness of what you deserve.
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Sisterly Podcast. I'm Molly.
And I'm Meg.
And happy Wednesday. Welcome to another episode. We're glad to be here. Glad you're here. And we're going to do a little intro, but the bulk of this episode is going to be chatting about DCC Season 3, which...
So if you haven't watched...
Maybe don't listen.
Maybe don't listen / definitely save us for after you listen because it was such a good season.
It was very good. And I didn't write this down. I want to make an editing note to the Netflix team. That sounds way more official than it is in a good way, or well, kind of. I just want to know if you noticed it. Anyways,
I don't know if I did.
Okay, who wants to go first? We both kind of had some like life updates, long weekend things.
Well, take it away because you had a special birthday.
Well,
not your birthday, but yeah.
It was Evan's 36th birthday. Super fun. He's 36.
You know, being about to be 35, I was like, God, he's old. But wow, so am I. Wow. He's not old. We're not old. But like that number feels older.
It feels older. And he doesn't look 36. No. So it's just funny when I think this would be a different awkward conversation. It was like, yeah, he's looking 36, man.
Well, you guys both, we talked about this already on another one, but y'all both have what I call chronic baby face.
I agree.
So you don't look your age.
That'll serve us well into the years. It used to get on my nerves, but it's slowly getting better. Unless I all of a sudden get like wrinkles or like
it just smacks you one day.
Yeah. Or the face, when skin has just been in the sun too much.
Leathery.
Yeah. It's like a fear of mine. Like my chest has been getting more sun because of running. So I'm like slathering on the sunscreen.
I feel that.
It's true.
Yeah. Well, not to caveat and be about me, but one of the postpartum symptoms I have not talked about, and not because I'm not willing to, but it's because I keep forgetting about it, is I got so many moles.
Oh.
Isn't that crazy? Like, yes. I remember I was starting to get tag moles on my neck, which is like a genetic thing. And this is before I got pregnant. And my derm was like, she knew we were trying. And she's like, like, be prepared. This will get worse when you get pregnant. And I was like, I guess I'd forgotten. And then all of a sudden, I kid you not, I probably went from 10 to 50.
Just everywhere.
Everywhere. They're everywhere. They're not just like on my neck. And some of them fell off, but a lot of them are still there. Which is just wild. Yeah.
That is crazy. Wait, so why are we getting moles when we're getting pregnant?
It must be something. Everything's hormones. I don't know. I don't know. Part of me thinks it had to do with hormones causing melanin production to speed up or something, and therefore produce more moles.
You mean melatonin?
No. Oh, you were doing a callback? Yeah, I think your melatonin gets suppressed. No. Yeah, so I think it was like a weird hormonal thing. Like everything is, but I think that's what I read. Don't quote me.
Well, I sent you pictures, but Ev and I on our long weekend, we decided to have like a long weekend, and I sent you pictures.
I know, I forgot. I just remembered.
An owl sanctuary here in Nashville. Meg and I love owls. I don't know if you know this about us. If you don't, you do now. We love owls.
But here's the thing, we didn't used to because we went to school where like shout out.
Mhm.
Well, maybe this is not true, but like for me when I was at Zeta, all the Chios, they were not our rival sorority, okay, but kinda. And
Yeah.
their like thing was owls, and so I was
Mhm.
like anti-owls for a long time.
You kind of had to be. It was like we were the crowns, they were the owls. Yeah. We'll just
So,
throw
but
it.
then Molly, yeah, throw what you know. Zeta for like once a Zeta, always a Zeta. Hey, only the best get crowned. What other sayings do we have?
That's one of my favorite and most annoying.
My mommy's thumb will not let me do that, which is crazy.
That's sad.
But no. So, anyways, we became obsessed with owls at the same time, and the way that it happened was very like this wild spiritual thing. Yeah. So, anyways, you went to an owl sanctuary.
Yes, and it's like if you look it up, whether you live in Nashville and are gonna go or you're coming through, it's called Owls Hill Sanctuary, or something like that. You'll find it, and it is mostly I don't remember. It's Owls Hill. It's in Brentwood. You'll find it. It's mostly hiking trails. That if you're a bird watcher, definitely take your binoculars, which I clearly need to get because I don't have any, or have your Merlin Bird ID app ready, because that's what Ev and I did after we saw. I'll come back to like the 5 owls that they have. After we saw that part, you have like 4 or 5 different trail options, and they're all easy, medium, like they're all different levels. They're really fun and it's beautiful. That part of Nashville is just stunning, and
that is so cool.
I know. Next time you're here, like you could take like Charlotte in a stroller. Like there are certain ones that are meant for kids that like I've never hiked in a stroller, but what I'm saying is like there's easy ones that you could easily do, and there's a lake. It's really pretty, but they have 5, so cool. I think it's 5, maybe 6 different owls, and that's what I sent you pictures of. And all of these owls, they have a license to have them. The gal was telling us all about it because I always get really curious about that. Like,
well, after Tiger King or whatever his name is, from
were they bred or you know what it was? Yeah. And she made it clear. She was like, we're not a rehabilitation center that's somewhere else. They just have had a license to have these few. I'm not really explaining it very well. So anyways, all of these have either come from they were hurt and they couldn't go back. So all of them can't go back into the wild is pretty much what she said. They all have to live the rest of their life here as educational animals, which they had a camp for kids there while we were there, and it was super sweet. So all of them, hopefully they are thriving. They look like they were all living a great life other than me chatting to them during the day when they want to be asleep. But it's such a like off the beaten path little gym in Nashville. So it was really, really sweet.
They're so cute. And like you said, there was like 5 different types. There's like a barn owl, a screeching owl. I'm making this up. I don't know.
No, there was a screeching owl. I did a reel. You can go check my Instagram or we'll link it below. And I put all the owls that were there in it. But there was
Isn't it screeching with the ears?
Yes, and it's smaller.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
Cute. It's like a red almost, like a red-brown. And then there's the barn owl, which Ev and I have some that live in our backyard. So we knew that one. And then there is what's the one that was in like a cartoon growing up that was the professor and he wore glasses?
You meant Winnie the Pooh?
Was it Winnie the Pooh?
Well, it was the wise owl.
The wise owl. And I think he wore glasses, didn't he? But he is the barred owl. Is that right?
Oh, I thought that was a barn owl. Barred
There's 2 different kinds.
Barn and barred.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, I don't know. I think we have
barred owl is without the ears.
Oh.
Barn owl is without the ears as well, just different coloring. Barn owl has the really pretty white face that almost looks flat.
Yeah. Oh, then that's not what we have. I forget what we have in our backyard. Ours is kind of brown. Maybe we do have a barn. She has a baby. It's a whole thing for us. Yes.
Sorry for people just listening. I just want us to get it right because owls are beautiful. That one is the one I'm trying to remember the name of. That's like brown and has the ears. Because that's like the typical cartoon owl.
Oh, okay. Wow. I thought that was the screeching, but it's not.
We'll all just do a little research after the episode's over.
This will be an edits corner for next week.
Yeah.
Anyways, so that was part 1 of like several parts of your weekend.
Yes, and that was really sweet. It was very warm, but we walked around and had a good time. So that was the glorious part of the weekend. And the other thing that I wanted to talk about is Sunday we went on a bike ride. Evan trains, he cycles, and we went on a bike ride. I was like, hey, let's cycle downtown. Like, we live close enough to you can cycle downtown, and there's a coffee shop in 5th and Broad called Elixir that I love, all the things. So we were romanticizing it, calling back to last episode. And so we got down there, and before I started cycling, I didn't know this was a thing, so I'm going to over-explain something. You wear cleats that clip into your bike.
Oh, yeah.
If you are riding like a semi-professional bike. You can just wear sneakers and flip the pedals over, but not in this household. So I was clipped in, and
we go all the way.
I was clipped in, and that already freaks me out, and Ev knows this. It's something that like every time I get back on the bike, and I don't ride that much, but every time I get back on the bike, I have to remind myself how to clip in and out. And okay, riding a bike is already very hard. You have to think about all those things. Okay, add being clipped in with your feet, and your fight or flight can't almost work. Like I almost like when I'm
because you're stuck.
I can't yes.
Yeah.
So what happened is
oh no,
we got to 5th and Broad, downtown Nashville, right there on Broadway, and there is 5th and Broad kind of has a couple bars with seating facing Broadway, and we were coming in right there. Well, there was a curb. I didn't see a lip, and I don't cycle enough to need to think about those things. So I hop over the lip, and I skid, and I go down. And
does everyone see you?
Everyone sees me. And can we just all be proud of me for a second?
No.
To this day, I was not. Like, I promise I would tell you if I like cried a tear, if I was embarrassed. I think if I would have been actually hurt, I probably would have been embarrassed. I started dying out laughing.
You're like, of course.
Because I had a slight almost fall 5 minutes before. So I almost like brought it on myself. I think I had just gotten in my head. And anyways, hit the curb, and there's these two. This is the best part. No one in the open bar is like, are you okay? Like, everybody's just kind of looking like, what the hell?
Oh no.
There's this Amazon truck, and these two guys are looking. I'm down on the ground, and they're up in their truck, and they're looking down at me, and they're like they're trying to figure out if I'm laughing or crying, because I think sometimes my laugh can look like a cry until you see my face.
Yeah.
And so I look at them, and he's like, are you okay? Like, he kind of was like, are you stupid? Like, here's the thing about me. I have the bike that looks professional. I have the shoes that look professional. I have the kit that looks professional.
So it kind of was
Guess what doesn't look professional?
You riding. It's like, should you be doing this?
Yes. And I think that's what was wrong. It's not like it was
something
a pedestrian
in this picture is not right. Yeah.
It's not like it was just a pedestrian on a bike. Like, there was someone who looked like a professional that just fell.
Oh no.
And so I will say my knee took most of the blow. Evan was like, it was really graceful how you fell, or how you fell. And I was like, you know what? I will take that, because I feel like from dance and like all these things, like you just kind of learn how to do it gracefully when you're about to fall, right? Or when you're about to land.
Well, how do you
Anyways,
fall clipped in?
so Evan was like, "Did you stay clipped in?" Like we were talking about it. And I was like, all I remember is it was like slow-mo. I was going down and I said knee because I had no scrapes anywhere else. I had nothing.
Oh.
But my knee, I didn't post it on the internet. I put a Band-Aid over it. But it's bad. And I've been limping around the past few days because it's so bruised.
No. Yeah.
But it took all of my weight, in the bike. Anyways, I almost unclipped as I was falling. So my knee caught me clipped on the right leg. And then when I went down, so I went knee, right hip. When I went down, I unclipped my left so I could stand up. So anyways, I laughed it off. And then we tried to go to the coffee shop. And I was just like, Ev, I just want to go home. Like my knee hurts. Well, moving on to your little edits or updates until we get to DCC. I'm so excited.
Yeah. So you made me think about we did the World Cup again this weekend. I know. Okay, listen, we did a lottery and we were able to like buy tickets at a crazy
Spark Notes. What was that about? How did y'all get to go to 2 games?
I know. Okay, so he did a lottery. James did a lottery. Like I don't fully understand it, but basically he did not think he was even going to get tickets, but he said he ended up entering in for a section that he didn't think anybody would be interested in. Mm-hmm. And he said he thinks that's how he also only requested 2 seats, whereas some people request more. And so he thinks he just was able to get lucky because people weren't requesting a certain tier of ticket as well as like was requesting fewer.
Yeah.
So anyways, he
smart
was able to get tickets for 2 different games. So we went to another game. This one was very fun because it was at night. And so they did like a light show with our phones. I joke and say like you had to give them access to use your phone because you did. And they like accessed your like camera light and everyone's camera light was doing something at the exact same time. It's really cool.
Wait, that's actually so smart. Whoever thought of that.
Yeah.
I love that.
It was very fun. But what made me think about you was before that, we had parked at a different place and we did not know if like parking was going to be safe / it was expensive. It was a whole thing. Okay. So we parked at this place. Well, we ended up at this brewery that was like, it's a known brewery in Atlanta. And which I guess it doesn't matter. Wildly Breweries where we were. It's like they're kind of revitalizing parts of downtown. Mm-hmm. And so we were like, oh, this is so awesome. Like, let's stay here and have a drink. So we're outside. I'm having a drink. We're sitting like in these like shared fire pit, like Adirondack chairs kind of situation. And we're having a drink. All of a sudden, I go to pick up my drink and I just like throw it. Like I just throw it all over the chair next to me, all over me. And these people are looking over at me like, girl, you do you. Like she don't
was it like a muscle spasm throw?
It was I think part of it was my mommy's wrist / muscle spasm. And I literally looked at them and I was like, yo, I'm not drunk. Which when someone says I'm not drunk, it's like, sure, okay. I was like, no, like I'm not drunk. I don't know. So I like went inside and, and this other girl is like toweling off herself and her friend's like, look, see, she knows what it's like to be covered in water. And I was like, well, I got my beer all over me. So she's like, oh, hard day. I'm like, yo, I'm not drunk. I promise.
So funny.
So I'm like cleaning myself off. Yeah. So then I walked back.
You think about me?
Well, because you fell and you laughed at yourself. And so I did laugh at myself. But I was also kind of embarrassed because I was like, oh my God, I can't like I'm just trying to have like I think I was embarrassed that it looked like I was a sloppy drinker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway, so then I come back out and I'm sitting down and we like start talking to these people and I realized that at that point I did not know this, but my beer had gone all over the chair next to the guy. And I was like, did that get on you? He was like, I think something fell off. It's so sweet. I think something fell off from the building, and that might be what startled you to cause you to spill your drink. I was like, no, I think I just had a spasm. And then I literally said, I'm so sorry. So I like cleaned it up. I was like, did I get it on you? Whatever. And then we were like talking about it was one of our first outings without our kid. And he was like, listen, y'all do you. And I was like, no, like I'm sober. I'm sober.
These things just happen. I want you to know that I accidentally spill or throw my drink all the time.
Like, I did that yesterday.
Yeah, yes. I think there's some sort of like muscle spasm or excitement that happens. Like the other day I was in Dose and I was getting water, and I think for me, if you come upon me very fast, like I do get startled.
Whoa! I do that all the time with people in my complex. They're like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, it's not you. It's not you.
Yeah, we get easily startled. Our Meemaw gets easily startled. It's just part of the family. Well, this gal came around the corner and I didn't see her coming. And I was like taking a water cup from the spigot, and I was turning. She's like, whoa there. And I was like, you came into my space, but I like spilled it all over her and me. But anyways. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's really I don't know that there's much more to that story for me. It was great. It was a great experience. I talked about it on the last episode, the experience of the World Cup. But this time we went in and we chose a team, and we were like, here's a team we're rooting for, ride or die. And we chose Congo, and they came back 3-1 at the very last half. It was just incredible. And we were sitting next to we were also in the Congo section again. It was just really fun. And
quick question, while you were in the game, and then I want to hear what you're about to say. Were you watching the field or were you watching the cameras?
Both, but mostly the field.
I always catch myself watching the cameras, and I'm like, wait, I'm in person. Watch the field.
No. Yes. Especially depending on how high up you are and what you're trying to catch. Like there would be moments where I would have to watch the feed just so I could see like some, in-depth corner of the play that I couldn't see because the field, it was so far away or whatever.
Yeah.
But I had a better food experience this time. I went with the tacos. I don't know what else we did this weekend, but that was the highlight. My parents came into town. We took Charlotte to pool, and she lost it. She'd done great 2 times. This time she didn't. It's because she wanted to go to sleep. But people were like, oh, she doesn't like the water. And I was like, no, the child loves the water. The problem is that she should be asleep, and she's boycotting the bottle. Well, she should be eating a bottle, but she's boycotting it. She went 4-ish hours without eating because I don't know. She wanted to be asleep and was hot. I don't know.
I think she really likes to sleep. I think she's a sleeper.
Oh, well.
So I know y'all are in sleep regression. I'm just saying, I feel I've heard y'all say her whole, life thus far, that once she gets settled and is not progressing, she loves to sleep.
Yeah, she's a good sleeper. We're having trouble connecting sleep cycles as per usual for the age she's at, but she's a good sleeper. Okay, the thing that I am really excited about, do you, rom-coms, how they kind of feel like, where are they and what the heck's going on with them? And we want to a comeback of all these classic rom-coms.
1000%.
Okay. So in the past, I don't remember what I learned this from, but did you know? Okay, name some of your favorite rom-coms, first of all.
Wedding Planner, Made in Manhattan, sorry, J-Lo heavy, Pretty Woman. Wow, I'm really on the spot here.
Okay, well, that's fine. So what sucks is now I'm going to
How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. I knew I had just watched one.
Okay, well, what's great is I don't know that any of those are written by this person, but there is specifically a woman who is known for her rom-coms. It's Nancy Meyers. I did not know this, but she's the one who wrote and directed The Holiday. Wait, is she Sleepless in Seattle? Oh no, we're gonna have an edits corner. So essentially, she's done a lot of these pretty famous rom-coms that we like or whatever. Well, to my knowledge, she's been out of the business for a while. And word on the street is she's coming back to do another. She's got a couple in production.
Stop. Okay. She did The Parent Trap. That's what I watched.
The Parent Trap.
She did the 1998 version. Father of the Bride. That's what I know.
Father of the Bride. What else is there's like a huge list.
The Intern. It's Complicated. The Holiday. Something's Got to Give. What Women Want. Private Benjamin. Some of those I don't know. But she's got some coming now. How old is she?
I don't know. I don't know much about this woman other than the fact that she is a notorious, famous, whatever word, rom-com specialist. And there's another one coming out. So that's just exciting for us rom-com lovers. There's something fun on the horizon.
Let me read the synopsis for the one coming out in 2027. By Nancy Meyers, and it stars Tony Hale, Owen Wilson, Penelope Cruz. A young
Tony Hale, fun fact, he is a Stanford alumni.
Wait, they just posted about him, didn't they?
He is a Stanford alumni who was in Arrested Development, which is so cool.
Yeah. They just posted about him. A young filmmaker falls for a producer after making several hits together. They break up and must reunite to work on a high-profile project featuring volatile stars.
I think it's going to be great.
Oh, there's Tony right there.
He's doing so much right now, which is so fun to see.
What did he come through the acting department?
Yes, and then he moved to New York, and then he was. I took this class out of Atlanta that they knew Tony, and he spoke during COVID. I took this class. It was anyways. Yes. So from what I can remember, he was in New York. That's when he got his audition for Arrested Development, booked it, moved out to LA. I'm pretty sure that's how that went down. And him and his family just relocated back to Birmingham.
Sweet. Oh, yeah. Birmingham's so sweet. I'm not surprised by that. I think about this every so often. Like, what would it take for Sanford to ask me to come back and speak? And I want you to know that that's part of my goals in this life, even if it's not on what I graduated in, but just to be a force in the world that they feel led to put me in the right center with a microphone.
That's so funny. It's so funny. That's so funny. I think there are times I have those thoughts too where I'm like, but then I'm also like, about what? How to rant on Instagram? Yes.
I feel like I just have like a CEO living inside of me.
And that's here.
Yeah, she's here. She's always been here. And so I know that I'll be speaking on something like that.
Good for you.
So
call it out, my love.
Okay. Well, shall we move into DCC season 3 recap?
Let's get to it. I'm so
excited.
Okay, tell me what you thought. So I hope I can remember because I have short-term memory. But you just watched. Was it not just the bee's knees?
It was. And so there's 3 seasons, which blew me away. I was like, I feel like we're on season 5. Like, I feel like we're down the road.
Same.
And Meg and I grew up, as you watching or listening probably did too, watching it on CMT. And they called back to that so many times, especially Kelly, this season. And it was just, my nostalgia was like, they would show old episodes of Kelly and Judy, especially Kelly. And you can just see that was decades ago. Anyways, I loved it. The editing note that I want to make at the top of the recap is, did anyone else feel like it was edited a little bit differently? Like, I'm not going to lie, I got a little annoyed the first 3 episodes. Hear me out. It was the way that they were cutting to storylines. So I realize it's a documentary. Okay. So those are filmed a little bit differently than episodes of your favorite show. I don't know. I'm just thinking something. Or reality television.
Less reality. Yeah.
I think I want it to be edited like a reality show. And that's not what it is. And I had to remind myself this is a documentary.
Okay.
And I'd be curious to know if the editor was different from season 2 to 3. just because I noticed that the editing was different. It was still very good. I think Netflix does documentaries really well. But I got annoyed the first 2 episodes because I was like, can we just stay with this one person for like a few more minutes? Like I felt like we would get the flyover of the day and then we'd move on. And then the flyover of this and then we'd move on.
The way now you're explaining it. Okay, one, I loved it though. I actually really preferred it. But I think what you're saying that now I can look back on is that each episode was a lot more thematic and less like it was like it would follow a theme for the episode. So this whole episode's going to be about social media. This whole episode's going to be about, rookies. This whole episode's going to, whatever. But I loved it because I think it humanized a lot of their experiences and kind of gave you, I think they did a better job of protecting the mental health of these people this season by portraying them in a light that humanized them.
Yes, and we're going to get into that because I want to feel free to jump around, but I would like to go in chronological order somewhat. I have it written down to guide us. But
yes, Queen Host, I want you to take us through.
I did not know that was going to be a theme until you had said it last episode, and then I kind of went in with that like lens on. But starting with auditions, I just think the whole thing, Kelly and Judy from the beginning were different.
I agree.
I also think that they let us see who Charlotte really is, which I love Charlotte. Charlotte's edit last season was not fair, and I made a comment about it last episode.
Harsh, right?
It was a little harsh, and I actually think that Charlotte is an insane businesswoman that you want to look up to, and Kelly and Judy respect her so much. So something about like that edit I noticed was way more like, okay, that's actually who Charlotte is. I think she's a powerful woman that they bring in when they need a voice that they respect.
Her cutting her eyes at Kelly in the audition, like, how'd she get through this?
But that's what I'm talking about. Charlotte knows her place.
Yeah, but she literally looked like a scene from a TV show where someone is casting the revered CEO that you want to impress.
Charlotte is one of those. I think this season I just found the person that I want to emulate myself after because Charlotte is a powerhouse. She can say, there was this scene when they were trying to pick the finals. It was the night they brought her in when it was training camp.
Showing a lot of softness to her.
Yes. And Charlotte came in, said what was necessary, didn't say anything more, anything less. And then she walked and the Netflix cameras stayed with her. She didn't say anything. She just had power in her walk. And I was like, that is how I want to be in this world. She was so powerful.
I'm also very much in a gentleness phase of life, meaning like I'm really sensitive to how compassion and gentleness is so necessary. Like we should never have it leave us in order to embody something else. It should always be within us. And so I think I'm really sensitive to that. I will say overall, I think you saw a lot more compassion and gentleness coming through this season with the higher ups to down. And I think that was really, because people are human, okay? Nobody's perfect. But I think it was really interesting to see that it felt like they were noticing the need for that a little more. And that was really cool.
I kind of had this daydream in my head off of that. I was like, this probably didn't happen, but I was like, Charlotte, Judy, and Kelly probably were in a room together and we're like reminiscing on last season and like some of the harder parts of it. And we're probably like, how can we do better? You know?
Yeah.
But yes, okay, auditions. So the live audition element was so crazy to me when Kelly was talking about that. Because at the same time they were doing auditions, she was right? Didn't it start with auditions, but it also started with them on the road and doing live auditions? That was part of it.
Yeah.
I didn't know Kelly always wanted them to have like a residency show. That was really cool to me.
Yeah. I didn't either. Yeah. Which makes a lot of sense. because I feel like you see that a lot more of like on Broadway or whatnot. You see these like one-off shows that are relevant to like what's going on in other pop culture. Yeah.
I keep thinking Kelly or Judy are going to just be tired and like not give us anything like new. And so I think when I saw that, I was like, Kelly, this is still her passion. Like, this is what she's wanting to do. And Judy still wants to choreograph for that and add into that. And so I just thought that was a really cool way to, I mean, those girls are insanely talented. Like, they should be able to show off all of those.
Yes, because that's not necessarily what they do when they're on the field. And that's something that like James was like, he didn't really watch, but when he watched parts of it, I was like, no, you need to see the audition parts because these girls are like very, very good dancers, like Dancing with the Stars, top of the line dancers.
They're insane. And all of them come from different backgrounds. And did you train studio dance as long as I did?
No, that's a hot button topic, but no, I didn't. That's the topic where like my family was like, what are we going to do? I don't know. Well, but then we'll trial and error with Megan so then Molly can have it all figured out.
I would have never, hear me out. So Meg and I went a little bit different routes. We should have said this because there's a reason we also are speaking on DCC with such passion. Like, we both come from dance backgrounds. And
I always said I wanted to be a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader. Did you know that?
Oh, I'm sure. It was growing my plan.
I would put on socks. I would put on tall socks to make it look like I had cowboy boots on.
Heck yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
So Meg and I, quick Spark Notes version of life so you understand where we're coming in at. Meg and I did two different routes in high school. Some of it was the same, but you went show choir and not band, and I went show choir and band. And
which is relevant to say that where we went to school was not an arts high school, but arguably could have been because they like were very big about arts and band and all of that from middle school on, and were known nationally for both show choir and band. But you had to choose in middle school. In 6th grade, you had to choose, and that was your destination for the rest of high school.
Which, looking back now, that's really insane.
It's insane. So I was like, cheerleading.
1000%, as anyone would have chosen. I was basketball and cheerleading, and then I had to choose, and I went. But, for me, band and dance line is, I am not at all trying to say that I was trained like a DCC, but I want to make a point about something. When I watched part of DCC, and I was co-captain my junior year, was captain senior year, like, our kicks had to be as high, as pointed. We were in boots. Our costumes were done by the same person who did the costumes for the University of Alabama. Like, we were held to a very high standard. So there's part of like their training that they go to that I have so much compassion for. And also like the athleticism, like the amount of all of our muscles were beyond tired and almost at the point of breaking, and not breaking, but like, everybody had a slight like tear or fracture almost happening. Like, anyways, dance line is the route I went down. And going back to the studio training, I started that studio training because there was a dance line prep class, 6th grade. 7th grade? 7th or 8th grade, you could start taking a dance line prep class at a studio by the woman who was the choreographer for the dance line at the time. So that's why I got into studio. But Meg, you were going to a different studio at the time, because I remember I went with you. And
no, I didn't do. Oh,
you went to the other studio.
No, there is. Okay.
Oh no.
Do you remember when we took hip hop together?
Yes, with
Mary D.
Yeah,
Mary D's great. I love Mary D. No, which is just so funny because I'm 6 years older than my sister, and I take a kids hip hop class where I'm the oldest person in the class.
It was so fun. We were having the best time.
Yeah, I just do a lot of things where it's like, should you be here? No, probably not. You probably shouldn't be here, but I am.
So funny.
No, I do that all the time. No, it's literally a sore subject. Like, no, I didn't get dance lessons until college. Mom and Dad didn't pay for me to have
that's
dance
where we were different.
lessons.
My point of that is that I don't think we would have known about studio. Like, dude, I was only over at Studio B because of Dance Line Prep, and then then I started taking jazz and intro to ballet.
I eventually, when I went on to dance at Sneed in college, like that's when I did some of the dance classes there, and like went on to do dance classes through college or whatnot.
And that's what your minor's in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you went on to train. The whole point is Meg went on to train through college. I trained. I could have done a minor. I was a full-time over credits in vocal studies, so I have like a slight minor in dance.
I went to school on scholarship for dance.
Yes. That was my point, because you went to Sneed and you did the dance team, which is a part of some of those girls' backgrounds. Mm-hmm. The fact that they made that such a big deal this season was so interesting.
Hairography is literally what I know. Mm-hmm. Like that's what I did was hairography, which is just so funny. And I would be watching it and I would look at Charlotte and James and be like, Mama used to dance like this. Yeah, look, my mama used to dance like this. Mama didn't used to dance like that. But that's what I would tell myself.
Yeah. So some of that's where we're coming from into this conversation. But they're moving into like their palm style. I didn't know that that's what they called it.
Yeah, and it makes sense because it's like a little pot. It's very like, it's the hairography, it's the upbeat tempo, and it's, it's so interesting being in the dance world. There are times, and being in like, Molly's right, her and I have two different arts journeys. Mine is, show choir was arguably pretty musical theater-y, and then going into college, I did dance team, but then went on to do a little more technical training in my minor and actual musical theater. But I was around people who had very structured technical training in ballet, which I think is a beautiful thing. I was a gymnastics girly. I did like 12 years of gymnastics where these girls were doing like ballet. But there is something to be said about a body that, and not everybody's like this, but there are some bodies who just don't groove. They're very technical and they're a little more like, but they have a hard time like loosening the shoulders a little bit. And I think what's interesting is that while that's not what was talked about in the show, there is a certain level of like, there were a couple girls who stylistically had a hard time with the more jazz palm hairography because they were so technical in other ways.
Which
and I would see that as a dancer. Like that's what my point was, like as a dancer, and over the past, also fun fact, I have been teaching dance over the past 10 years. You even see this in kids. Like it's just not every body is able to do it as fluid as some other bodies are.
And it takes a minute. Yeah. Dare I say there's a piece of show choir in palm style, because I think like you see it in Reese a lot. Reese is really good about doing the move. And then there's also like I'm going to connect with you on the eye. And then also like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is like what we would have show choir practices that were all about facials. You remember that?
100. Oh, yeah. Well, I would come back and talk about facials. I'd be like, what is the story you're telling?
Yeah.
They're so funny. Yeah. Oh, Reese. I don't know if you're ready to go on to Reese
I know.
yet.
Okay, so let's keep moving down. They kept saying how wild last season was. And I was like, why can I not remember what happened?
Oh, you remember?
The girl like walked out.
Yes, and I can't remember the full-on drama, but she was like this is going to suck because I can't remember, but she was like a head...
she was a group leader.
Group leader. But was there something to do with social media? She posted something?
Something happened, and that's what I'm saying. They all kept, and maybe Netflix didn't show us everything, but they all kept referring to, like Kelly would say it, she was like, last season we just all felt very like antsy or anxious.
Well, I think it was that, and it was also like they were trying to petition for higher pay. Like I think there was just
a lot of icky. Like
there was not this oneness that they have had this season, where it was like there was some like dissonance, there was some like controversy, right? That was causing some tension. And this season, it felt like Kelly was so focused on family. Like, we are going to create leadership and family and oneness. And I think it also started with her being vulnerable. And there would be things that she would share that I thought was really fun. And, you know, yeah, I was really proud of them, honestly, her and Judy.
Oh, 1000%. And they probably have done elements of that through the past few seasons. And maybe Netflix just didn't include that in the last couple seasons. But like, Kelly, that moment when Kelly and Judy were talking to the girls and they were like, we kind of just want to hear you say like, I love you. We want feedback and we want to know that you're proud.
Yeah.
It's like, yes.
Well, and then like something that I have told James before too is like, fuel in my fuel tank is encouragement, because I am my hardest critic. And there's nothing you can say to me that I haven't already said to myself 12 times over. And like, I need to, while we talked about this in the previous episodes too, is like, I have to work on my own ability to encourage myself, but it is so helpful to also have someone else outside of me encouraging me, because I don't need you being my critic too.
No, I most of us are doing that on our own.
Yeah.
And I think this is what's hard, is those nights at practice when like you would hear Judy say, don't mark it. Like, you truly can't. And like, I think my point of that is like, I think there's a point of Judy and Kelly being tough on the girls, like pushing them. But I think as a coach, there's also maybe a way to carry that and encouragement. And it's probably a balance that takes a second to find. But
yeah, because I think there's a way that you can, like, and you know, I don't want to be a harsh critic on them either, but being one who has been in leadership, and I'm not saying I've done it well by any means, but I think it is trial and error. But I think that there's an easy cop out to be like, listen, I've got a lot going on, so if you don't hear me say something, just know it's because I got a lot going on. Like this whole like, hear me say right now that like, if I'm just telling you blah, 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 know that I love you, but it's just, we got a lot to do. I just like think that's a little bit of a cop out. I think there's like, you can also be like, take a second, acknowledge, affirm, and then let's go, you know? I think there's a way to both.
I think you're talking about Kelly, just being honest. Are you talking about?
No, Judy
Kelly
said
say something? Oh, Judy
said it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Either way, my point is, I think that generation, this is not like, we all know this. Our parents are that way. Like, emotional maturity and emotional understanding is not as prevalent for that generation as it was for us at a younger age. Not saying that we've arrived and they haven't. I think what you're saying is something that unless I've sat with my therapist, I wouldn't know to do what you just said. Do you know what I'm saying?
Totally.
Because I used to just think I wasn't emotionally available sometimes. And it's like, no, my therapist would tell me, she would be like, no, this is what's happening and this is what we need to work on so that you can be emotionally available and emotionally stable and give out to others, is kind of what I hear you saying and what I think is happening in them. And they're being affected by the younger generations of like, hey, we actually need you to be emotionally there.
Yeah. Well, and because it's so much more prevalent. It's so interesting too, because I'd be so curious if a lot of it is that there was, kind of going back to parenting and even taking like a religious spin in here too. There was so much of I believe, a movement in the 90s that was just like very like tough love was a good thing. Whereas now we're seeing and also coming back to me talking about gentleness, seeing so much more how gentleness is actually a lot more powerful, and compassion, and these things are just so powerful. I'll speak from experience. Acting classes. I got to a point in acting classes where it's like, I don't need to be a part of a class with a teacher who is claiming this is okay to talk to people this way because that's just the way that it should be, when it's like, no, you're actually being emotionally abusive.
Yeah.
That's like not okay.
Yeah.
There's also a book, just going back to spirituality and religious and Christianity. There's a book that I read that I think is incredibly powerful, and I saw it in my upbringing going like, oh, this is an interesting, I think this is, we struggle. It's Emotionally Healthy Spirituality is the book. But it's just like kind of, I'm probably going to paraphrase too much, but it's digging into like reframing a little bit how we see gentleness and compassion with ourselves and the way that we talk and the way that we interact with other people. And there's a lot more to it than that. But in the same realm, I would be curious how much of this is also just like an upbringing that they dealt with and the movement that was happening, and like how you even parented kids versus now, right?
Yeah.
You have the gentle parenting movement, which anyway, so it's just interesting because I think it's kind of all linked and tied into how we talk to ourselves and how we talk to others.
Yeah. Okay, one of the other things I wrote down for this like middle part of the season was then they started inviting in social media and Reddit. I don't get on Reddit. Didn't know that was a thing. Did you know this?
Not to the level that they talked about it. Like, my husband gets on Reddit. Yes, I think like they do. But I do not. I will just Google things and then Reddit AI will come through and then I'll read the Reddit article, but I don't get on Reddit and then search. But people do. And it's like a thing.
I always thought that Reddit was just millennials. So do you think Reddit has Gen Zs on there?
Well, they made it sound like it was a hot new up and comings from, because these girls are young.
Yeah. That's why I was confused. That whole part, I was like, oh, this sounds gross. This sounds horrible.
It's just really interesting. I'm glad they brought to light it, because I do think it's very easy for people who are not maybe in, I don't entirely know where all this comes from, the dehumanizing of others, but I think it is really interesting that it is true that a lot of people see these people as characters and less like a human. And so it's like a character to talk about as if they're critiquing a show or a book or something. And it's like, no, that's actually a human. Like they're not fake.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. They're like going to see it. They're going to see what you're saying. Like, it's human. It's not a fake person.
Right,
like,
right. Yeah.
On that note, it's kind of a sub note. There was 2 parts in the season, unless I'm misremembering, that kind of brought in 2 legacy moments, which legacies are always an interesting thing to talk about. But one of them was at the start of the episode, the gal who didn't make it. And I want to get into that. But the one that has to do with social media was Anna Kate and her sister.
Yeah.
That was crazy to me because, I don't know. I think there was a lot we didn't see. But I felt like that girl was just every time they showed her in her like master interview, she was just in tears. And
Anna Kate?
She's going through it.
Yeah, and I don't know what. They didn't
explain it very well.
I wonder if it has to do with last season or her sister. Yeah.
They gave a little flashback to when Anna Kate had made it. She had just gotten her uniform and Caroline was there. I hope I'm saying the right names. And Caroline was like, show me the uniform. She was like so excited. It was very like mine and your energy. Like Caroline's like the outgoing one. Anna Kate's the internal. She's taking everyone's like comments to heart. And she was like, I think I'm going to take the uniform off now. And like, that broke my heart. Because people are like, she only got on there because of her sister or whatever. And it's like, yeah, I can't imagine those comments. But
well, it's so interesting on that same note of like she only got on there because of her sister. Is like we don't see the fullness. We know this. God, I hope people know this. You don't see the fullness of a show because think about it. There are so many girls where you're like, at least this show, where you're like, I didn't even know they existed and they made the team. Like they're just not showing some people's stories. And so you don't know, like, but believe you me, they earned that spot. Like,
yes, Kelly and Judy are, sorry, they're not wasting time.
Well, also, they made that. I think they made that
Charlotte as their boss. Like, yeah, I would have a slight fear of there being a girl on the team that does not
belong there.
Good. Yeah.
I think they made that a lot more clear this year, in my opinion. That there was no favoritism.
Yes. And on your note of people they didn't show, I didn't expect there to be such a, like, we're not showing really any of the veterans. Like, you kind of didn't see them until the last 3 episodes, which was fine. Yeah. Like, this is a documentary. It's mostly about, like, the new people that are coming in.
Faith at least got a big edit. The show was almost about Faith.
Yeah, which, love her. At first, I was like, are we going to see that this isn't genuine? And I was like, no, I think this gal literally loves what she does and is having the best time. And I loved that her mom came over and just got to be with her and all of that.
She was great. I just, it's funny now looking back on it going like, oh, wow, she really did get a huge edit.
The fact that, okay, when they were pro her doing the ponytail.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't remember in the season if that was a Kelly or Judy idea or if that was her, but she was about to get cut. Like, she was about to get cut if whoever did not come up with the ponytail. And that in that moment was perseverance.
I will say she is a huge inspiration and like truly faking it till you make it, in the sense that she had every skill, but her mind was what she had to say. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. And I think that would be the best way of saying fake it till you make it. Not necessarily like actually, I don't know anything. She was like qualified. She had to fight her brain to say like, I belong here.
Yes.
I belong here. And I believe I belong here.
I just was so proud in that moment. I was like, yes. And then her ponytail, when they would show wide, I was like, yeah, she stands out in the best way.
Yeah.
She is an incredible dancer. Like they kept saying, she's a cruise dancer. And these girls actually came from a college team. And I'm like, okay, I don't really care about what y'all are saying because she's a showman is what she is.
Yeah. No, I mean, I got the sentiment of both. I think she did a great job of trying to really push through all that. I think it was really sad at the end to see, because they really showed a lot of the season after they've made it, which I think they've gotten more and more. But this year, felt like the most like, oh my God, we're done with who made the team and we still have 3 more episodes. Whoa. But they showed a lot of like the harsh critiquing online of like the girls performing and being like, who is this girl? Why does she think she belongs? Why do they choose her? Talk about their lines, blah, 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 blah. And I want to be like, yo, show me a selfie. I want to see a selfie of every girl who posted or every person who posted about these people, because I'm going to need you to show me that you could even do that. And if you could do that, then 1, why aren't you trying out? And 2, put it out there. Like, what?
No.
What?
I'm sorry. When they do Thunder and they run in an X like this.
Is it Thunder? I don't think it's a different.
Or is it Baby? They kept talking about Baby and Thunder. One of them, they run in an X like that.
I can't. Yeah.
I'm like, if we get out with just 98% perfection, we've won for the day. And the fact that no one's ran into each other.
Yeah. Well, they aim for 100. They train like 100 too. So it's like.
Well, on the note of Faith, the sweet fan the mom who would take videos.
Yeah.
That I just wanted to like email Netflix and be like, thank you for finding people like that to include in this documentary.
I know. They were like, there was a sweet saying. She said something about like, the important people. She's talking about people on the sidelines too, like
She
the
was like, just because you're
camaraderie
on
of
the sidelines doesn't mean you're not as important
yeah,
or something like that. Yeah.
and she was just talking about the camaraderie of the Dallas Cowboys as a whole. I just thought it was really really good.
Really sweet. And we didn't even say this at the top, but like when they were talking about like how big the Dallas fandom is, like we come from a house, like we're a Dallas Cowboys family. Like our dad is a huge Dallas Cowboys fan.
But we live in Alabama. Yeah.
And that just like, it shows you how Dallas Cowboys have just like, I don't know, they just span across like
they're America's team.
They are. So it just makes sense that the girls are also like up at that caliber. One note, then we'll get to Reese. Klein's parents, the karate.
Oh my God. It literally looked like a comedic, like Will Ferrell movie. It was so funny. It was so funny. The fact that she was like, that's my parents. Yes, that is.
There was something about that just felt like me and Evan in like
100%.
Like,
I think James might have said
household.
And like, y'all, it literally was like, what is it good? It's like the SNL. It was like two different characters.
I appreciate this in people. And I think it's after I've been with my husband and just like, he truly just does things shamelessly. So I've just tried to learn to do that. I feel like the Netflix team came to Klein's house and they were like, so just act natural. And they shamelessly were like, this is what we would be doing. And the way, I'm not making fun of them, like the way that I appreciated that, because there are things that we do in this household that are so natural for us that if anyone else saw it, it would be like, this is craziness. But like,
it was so funny. They were like doing karate, but it literally looked like an SNL skit. Like, it did. I'm not joking. It was so funny.
Jokes aside, they just have Klein? They have 2 kids, I think. Anyways, that's also an example that I want in my marriage of when we are older, we have kids, that we still find activities to do together that are playful and fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Klein. Right? Like, we still love hanging out together. Like, I just appreciated them showing that because Klein was one of those throughout the season who also had a big screen time, like Faith. But Klein almost would get misunderstood.
Yeah.
And like, they explained it better. And towards the end, like Kelly and her like figured out their differences. But it's like, Klein comes from that kind of family and is this way for this reason. And I don't know. I just really appreciated that edit of learning. You just learn if there is someone who's very different from you, trying to understand where they come from probably is going to help you have more compassion or empathy towards them and what
100%.
You know?
Yeah. 100%.
So I just love when that scene was happening. I was like, I'm in tears. This is precious.
It was such a good watch. It was such a good watch. And, to segue to Reese, if I may.
Yeah.
Watching her dance is truly one of the most breathtaking things. She is such an incredible dancer. Fully, from her toes to her fingers to her hair, like the way that she flows and moves, especially in that solo piece she did with the white that they kept showing back to. I mean, I was like, I would watch her all day. It was just so beautiful.
And she's so many people's favorites. And here's what I want to say. She also can dance sexy, and it's stunning. Like,
she's stunning.
There was this point in the show, I think it was mid-season, I like wanted to raise my hand. It was at training when they were doing practice. I wanted to raise my hand and be like, Kelly, how do we do sexy sweet? Like, how are we doing that? Because we're wearing very sexy uniforms. Let's just say it as it is. Like, everything's out. How are we doing this? But we're also not like just being too much, because they must talk about it off camera, because
I just had a hard time. I'm sorry, this is my hot take though. There's just some
Okay.
things where I was like, I feel like we're not speaking the same language. She got onto some girl, or they had gotten in trouble in the past about posting on social media in a way that was like, quote unquote, not something for little girls to look
Ava.
up to.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I was like, I'm sorry, what about being in a bathing suit is much different than the Dallas Cowboy cheerleader outfit? Like, I'm very confused by that.
So this is actually something, and we don't have to go down this rabbit hole fully, but I also am of that same mind. And Ava and I are the same age. And she made a point. I follow Ava outside of this. Like I follow her on social media. I think we're the same age. And also, like, she made a point, and I was like, yeah, that's how I think about it too. Like, why is it weird for you to see me in this and not that? Like, we should be treating them the same way. And that's why part of me has this is different from Ava, but it's just a point I want to make. Sometimes I have a problem being in a bikini because I'm like, you can just imagine that that's my underwear and bra. So, like,
Totally.
can we also
Totally.
find it weird that I have on a skimpy bikini right now and it's okay that I feel a little like, do you know what I'm saying?
No, yes, and it's like not to be again, I don't wanna be like a harsh critic of the whole thing, but
No.
there is part of me that was like, that just feels confusing. It feels like you're picking and choosing what you're qualifying as okay, when I'm like,
Mhm.
that's definitely like a subjective answer for people, but you're being so harsh about it with this girl but you're okay with her Dallas Cowboy cheerleader outfit. I was just
I know.
that to
It's
me
hard.
was I was like, that feels so gray.
And I think Ava said that when they were sitting in one of the like places they were eating or getting a coffee, and she was like, I half understand it and still half don't, but like it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I have a hard time with that just personally with a lot of
Yeah.
things that I like think feel, about life being a female and, you know, having I think personally I'm someone who just I love women. I love connecting with women, and I also love
Mhm.
all my little girls, and I get the like wanting to have them look up to you and be careful but there's also like things that I'm like, well, this is not a conversation for them. This is a conversation for my fellow 30-year-old girls who I'm talking to. I'm not talking to my littles. So it just is
Yeah.
hard to navigate that, and I think I just found that one
That's
confusing.
it's hard. And I think there's probably always gray areas in that realm because of what they wear and what they're doing.
But yet they're cut, right? Like, and so that's where
Yeah.
it gets a little hard because then you're like, okay, this is almost creating a fear of like, what if I do the wrong thing?
Yeah.
And how do I know what is the wrong thing? When
Yeah.
this over here is allowed, but this that feels similar is not allowed. But I didn't know
Yeah.
that. But now I'm
Yeah.
being told it's not.
Yeah.
Confusing.
So I know that Reese probably didn't want to overshare. And I think it's hard. This is part of a conversation I do and don't want to have at the end of an episode. This feels more like a whole episode. But I think I'm curious about Reese's decision leaving because she is so talented. And I'm like, what I got to at the end was I just wonder if there's some insane opportunity or she just really is like, this is just overwhelming to her.
I
That was
agree because
some of
there
that
was
was really hard for me.
why hard for you?
Hard for me of like, because I just think wanting her to keep doing and going with this DCC thing because she's so talented. It was hard for me that she was not like she would be group leader next season in my head.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But say what you were gonna say.
No. I mean, it's so hard. I think the only reason I resonate is I'd be projecting on her, but as
Totally.
someone who's walking into a season and I'm wondering if this is part of it, right? That which you thought was the be all and end all, you get there and you realize in some ways it's not, / you're grateful, but also you're realizing what really matters for you. And you're willing to lay that open and go like, I will be here if this is where I'm supposed to be, but also I want to be where I'm supposed to be. In the sense that like, for me with acting or for like career or whatever, I've gotten to this place where I've held onto it so tightly for so long and gone like, this has to happen this way. Believing like I couldn't be a wife and an actress. I couldn't be a mom and an actress. And yet it's something that I desire all three of those. Mm-hmm. And still believing that all three can exist, but going like, I'm going to stop trying to force this to look like the way I want it to. And I'm actually okay with the fact that like, I trust that what God has for me is the best, and that I want to walk in that, and I want to honor that to the best of my ability and steward that to the best of my ability. But it's also like, I'm not going to give up. I'm kind of speaking a little bit around the topic, but my point is I don't know if for her, because is there a world in which she can still do that and be a DCC cheerleader? Yeah. So it's like, I agree with you in the sense of, is there something more that was offered, and or was it just that it was too overwhelming? And, you know, who knows? Who knows the fullness of what that looked like for her, because it felt like we only got to see a small snippet. Yeah. But they did say something that made you think, oh, is there something more?
Kelly
or something else that's going on? Not going on, but like offered for her. That
it seemed like an opportunity had arose.
Yeah, that's what,
And that's where it's like, that's on Reese if she wants to share that with the world or not. But here's what's hard. And this is where the conversation goes into something else that's going to get way bigger. I think there is a spiritual element that's really hard to share on a Netflix documentary that left me as a fellow believer, like, there's more there that she's just not like capable to put into words or to share or wants to. And I totally get that.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm kind of walking around there?
Yeah. And also it's something that I'm trying to say this well. I'm not saying she's doing this. I'm saying that this is what I fight. I fight creating things being good or bad and right or wrong. I have a really hard time living in the middle of it all and going like, so for instance, with me right now, I'm going, okay, God, hands open with acting. I'm a mom. I'm navigating all this. I don't think that means throw acting out, like stop pursuing it, stop praying about the next steps, stop obediently walking in them, stop being a good student. No, I think that means I live with my hands open. I continue to pursue these things. I pray that God would open the door and bless as He will and lead and guide me. And I walk obediently in the gray, in the unknown, in the like taking steps of like trusting that He will lead me one way or the other without going, oh, let me make this an ultimate yes or no. Does that make sense?
Yes. And I had the exact same thought with a little bit of a different spin. And let's just take Reese out of it. Let's just put Reese over here. Because what she's done is she's started a conversation. You and I are not saying this is what she's doing. But it made me think about in my own life, and I'll just speak for myself instead of like for believers as a core, or Christians as a core or whatever. It's really hard for me to walk into a very secular space as a believer. Because, like you said, I try to find right or wrong within the spiritual realm and within the secular worldly realm. If you're not in the church, secular kind of just means worldly. And so for me, I think I also struggle like Reese of like, I want to have my faith and also be in where I feel like I'm being called to have my passion in. And there have been plenty of moments being in social media where I'm like, this is not as like clearly spiritual or clearly Christian. And so it's hard for me to live in that gray. I'm literally in therapy because it's hard for me to live in the gray.
Yes.
And
Well,
so,
yeah. So I get that.
and so I think now coming back to Reese, that's really hard to share. This is part of why I don't bring a lot of faith or Christian stuff into my social media, and it's not fully what this podcast is about. Because for me, I think it's really hard to portray that over a Netflix documentary, over a story on Instagram, over an Instagram reel. That is a let's grab coffee and chat about it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone's journey with faith and spirituality is different, and it should be. We're all different, and we all experience and understand and learn differently and love differently. And so I just, wrapping it up, I think there was more there in Reese's story that's really hard to share over a Netflix documentary. And I'm proud of her for what she did share. But it makes sense that we all kind of feel a little like, what happened? Like, what?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it is tough. Like this is the mental, or like this is the walk I've been walking for years of like, what does this look like to live this out in my acting career? And I've had even young actors, Christian actors, be like, what do you do about this specific scenario? And I think I'm always happy to share what I do, but I also think it's like you kind of have to wrestle with that on your own and come to terms with that on your own, with your own convictions. And I think that can be really hard. And for me, it's something specifically when it comes to like what I'm doing. I think one of the things I try to do is, instead of making a business a Christian business, I make it a business ran by someone who is a Christian.
Yeah.
The business is the business.
Yeah.
And I think for me, the biggest thing is like, well, what does that look like to like walk as a Christian? I think that looks like the fruits of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, kindness, and self-control. And like, that's how I treat humans, is through that lens of like, by God's grace, hopefully the Spirit leads me to treat people that way. And I'm about human flourishing in the sense of like the well-being of people and loving them by the fruits of the Spirit. Like, it's just, to me, it's hard and complicated, but for me, that's got to be the basis of like where I come from.
And it's going to just flow out of you. It doesn't have to be like pushed or like pressured. And that's where I kind of draw that line.
I mean, we're getting deep and we'll go there, but like we were talking about content lately, and I don't remember if I had this with you or if I had this with James or someone else, but any type of content that I start to consume where it starts to preach at me, I immediately am like, not interested, because I want to be a part of something. I want to be in it. I want to like see the fullness of the human arc of what's going on, whether that content is Christian or not. If you're starting to preach at me, I'm like,
no one
and
wants, no one wants to be preached at.
Really hard, right? Because some people see that as their destiny, or what is the correct word I'm looking for? But like, that's their goal within the art that they're sharing, is like to preach. And I don't even mean that like in a Christian sense. I mean that in like a here's my agenda that I want to share, right?
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily, and this is where I'm at. Like, this is where I'm having a hard time with like the content that I want to create, the things I want to write. Like, how do I do this well?
Yeah.
And I think it's hard.
It is hard.
I think it's hard. I think it's a hard line to walk. But there's a lot I could say about that. And that's, going back to social media, I think it is really, really hard. A lot of things in life are a conversation, sit down, coffee shop conversation, and expecting to find it on social media or receive it or get it or give it on social media just feels kind of foolish, because it's never going to give you the fullness of what you deserve.
And I think, I just saw a comment the other day, and it was like, thank you for sharing like your faith on this space or something like that. And it's like, I actually think we need to stop making that as a pedestal for the creators that you're watching, because it's actually, I don't think that it's a safe place to always do that. I think if you want to have a podcast and create a community or a Patreon and stuff like that, but like the open internet, I don't know is the space for that. And here's why I say that, because at least for me, my faith is so sacred to me. I protect it at all costs. And it is not flippant to where I'm just going to like throw it out there for like anything. And so
it's just hard because I think some people, it's like I think also you have to be okay with, you know, people are going to have an opinion and you can't control their opinion and you're going to get misunderstood or whatever. And are you okay with that? And I think that's hard. It's really freaking hard. This is a hard topic. This is a topic that so hard. People,
and you will never arrive. There won't be an arrival at this topic. That's what I've at least learned thus far. And to always remember that personalities like TV personalities like Reese or even us, there is a version of us online and then there's a version of us at the coffee shop. There are two different things.
People are multifaceted humans with so much going on and day-to-day learning and growing and changing. And so there's just so much. This is where the need for like kindness and grace is huge, which isn't always practiced around us. So yeah, it's hard.
Let's try to wrap this up a little bit. Edits Corner. I had one edit. I'm joining in on our Edits Corner now. The audio from episode 4.
Is it bad?
For me, clips a little bit. And I just wanted to tell the audience, because I'm someone who listens to podcasts and gets annoyed when it's bad audio. Evan and I are working on, we're still tweaking how we're doing mine and Meg's audio because we want it to be the best of the best. Like you literally have a audio sound engineer who gets paid full time to do our audio, and he doesn't get paid full time to do ours, but that's what he does. Anyways, my point is I'm sorry for that. And I know there's parts of it that might be annoying. We couldn't undo it, but we're just still tweaking. So bear with us. And that's my only edit, I think.
That's so funny.
Your audio was mine. It was mine.
That's so interesting because I have like literally the most dumbed down setup over here.
I know. I'm annoyed because I don't.
Yeah. No, I mean, my only edits was like my friend, I mentioned her. I don't know if I mentioned her last episode or not, but Haley Swartout, love her. They have a podcast. It's called Personality Hire Pod. Oh. Dang it. I came on here knowing their name and now I've already forgotten it again. I think it's Personality Hire Podcast.
I love that.
They're both like personality hires, air quotes. They're I don't know her co-host as far as like actually know her, but she seems really fun. But they're fun.
I love that.
That's fun
such a cute name.
Yeah.
Creator shout out is mine this week, and at autumn.accord. Do you know who this person is?
That name is so familiar.
She's been popping off recently, at least on mine. I always say that with all these people, but I think I get fed all these people like everyone else when they start popping off. But Autumn works a 9-to-5. She's known for working a 9-to-5. She lives in Maine. And her like core videos are the ones where she's like, come with me for my evening after my 9-to-5 or something like that. And she's known for this. She turns her monitor off and she goes, boom, and she like starts her like evening like that. Like at least that's how I know her and how I know the starts of her videos. But she's just a fun personality. I mean, literally people are there. She could do whatever she wants. People are there because she sings nostalgic songs in her car in her voice and just having the best time. She lives in Maine. I don't think a lot of people really like, there's not like influencers of Maine, you know? It's kind of like
I love Maine.
Yeah. So I think she got a lot going for her, and I just think she's really, really funny and precious, and I just love her, like, evenings after my 9 to 5, and she's like, boom! She, like, kind of has this tomboy energy, but she's very, like, girly, too. So anyways, you'll have to check her out, but that's my creator shout-out for the week.
Oh, that's fun. I'll have to look her in. What's her name again? Aubrey?
Autumn? .accord.
There we go. Autumn.accord.
While you're on Instagram, everyone go follow us at sisterly.podcast. And that would be awesome. That's where we do all the, well, Meg really runs it over there. So go check it out.
I try to.
Okay, dude. That's all we got for today.
Yes. All right. That was fun. Go watch it. Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders if you didn't.
Season 3. Are you going to do our outro? Because at this point, this is our outro.
Guys, always, let's keep it real. Let's keep it kind. Let's keep it gentle, shall we? And always keep it sisterly.
Toodles. Bye, guys.